The name of this video is Ira Krakow's Python 3 Tutorial Part 2, Strings. In Part 1 of this series, we saw how to use Blender's Python 3 console, as well as how to write simple one-line programs and make variable assignments. In this tutorial, we're going to dig deeper into strings, arguably the most important type of variable in Python. We'll discover how to write strings, what happens when strings become very long or span more than one line, and how to use operators to combine strings or to make multiple copies of the same string text. There's a lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's begin. So as in Part 1, start up Blender. I'm using the latest version, which as of this video date is 2.5 Alpha 2. Go to the scripting setup. With the cursor on the Python console, press Control down arrow to maximize Python 3 console. We're ready to enter some strings to see some different ways they can be entered. A string can be enclosed in single quotes. So enter single quotes, spam eggs. Or it can be entered enclosed in double quotes. You can enter double quotes, spam eggs. You get the same result either way. Note that the string is enclosed in single quotes no matter which way you entered it. Suppose you make the leftmost quote a double quote and the rightmost quote a single quote. So enter double quote, spam egg, single quote. That'll produce a syntax error. You either use both single quotes or both double quotes. What if there's a single quote inside the string? Single quote doesn't will give you an invalid syntax message. You have one of two ways of solving this. You could use both double quotes, as in double quote DOESN apostrophe T, or you can use what's called an escape character, the backslash, before the apostrophe, as in single quote DOESN backslash apostrophe T apostrophe. What the escape character does is treat the second apostrophe not as the end of the string, but as an actual apostrophe. You can escape the double quote the same way. So if you enter double quote, DOESN backslash double quote, T double quote, you'll get doesn't with the double quote. If you want to assign a long string, one longer than fits in one line, the backslash has another meaning. There's more to this string. Here's an example. Enter, this is a rather long string containing backslash. You get 3 dots. What do these 3 dots mean? They mean that the console is asking for the next part of the string. So enter the next part of the string, or the next line of text, and end it with double quotes. Now if you enter print parenthesis hello, close parenthesis, you get the whole string, both the first and the second line. Suppose you want the first part of the string to print on one line and the second part to print on the other. Use \n to indicate a new line. So enter the following. Hello equals double quote. This is a rather long string containing \n and then backslash. Then you get the 3 dots again. Add some spaces and then enter the second line of the text. And end that with a double quote. And if you enter print hello, you'll get the text on 2 lines with the second line indented. White space or spaces count as characters. There's special significance to matching triple quotes, 3 quotes, or matching triple apostrophes. What's entered between them prints, with the spacing preserved, without you having to enter all those bothersome escape sequences. Thus, print parenthesis, triple quote, then press enter. Hello, my name is, press enter, Ira, press enter, triple quote, close parenthesis, and you get hello, my name is, and then Ira on the second line. Strings can be combined using the plus operator. Python is smart enough to see that when the plus operator is used for 2 strings, it doesn't add the strings as it would for numbers. Instead, it combines them. To produce my full name from my first and last name, enter full name equals double quote Ira, close double quote, plus double quote Krakow, close double quote. And then you type full name and you'll get Ira Krakow with no space in between my first and last name. To add a space between my first and last name, simply add a space at the beginning of my last name. So if you type full name equals double quote Ira, close double quote, plus double quote space Krakow, close double quote, and then enter full name, you get my name with a space between my first and last name. Mixing strings and numbers when combining, the technical term is concatenating, is a no-no. Entering 2 plus single quote Ira, single quote, will produce an error called a type exception, which is called type error, because you're trying to mix a number and a string, and Python can't figure out if you want to do adding or concatenating. However, enclosing the 2 in quotes, either single or double, will work because now apostrophe 2 apostrophe is a string. So if you enter apostrophe Ira apostrophe plus apostrophe 2 apostrophe, you get Ira 2 because the 2 is a string and it's concatenated with Ira. The star operator repeats a string some number of times. So entering single quote Ira single quote times 3 repeats my name 3 times. If you omit the operator, concatenating is assumed. Thus, single quote Ira single quote space single quote Krakow single quote produces Ira Krakow without any spaces in between. This concludes part 2 of the Python 3 tutorial. We've gone more in depth about assigning a variable to a string, how to enter multi-line strings, and how to combine and replicate strings. In part 3, we'll go into even greater depth as we look at how to slice and dice strings into substrings, as well as how to create lists. If you like this tutorial, please don't forget to hit the YouTube subscribe button and to discuss my tutorial at forum.irakrakow.com. Happy Blender Pythoning!